Welcome to Smart Parents, Successful Students, the podcast that helps parents like you guide your children toward academic confidence and success. I'm your host, Helen Panos, and I'm here to share expert tips, proven strategies, and inspiring stories that make the journey to school success a little smoother for both you and your student. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my Smart Parents, Successful Students podcast. I'm your host, Helen Panos, and I'm here today to talk about goal setting for the classroom and beyond. It's very important that young children set goals just like we do as adults, and this will lead to a lot of success for your children. I have a SMART goal planner worksheet that will be available for you in this podcast. Please make sure you click on the link that's available in the notes and download that planner and use it for each semester. And let your children set 3 goals, especially if they're older, like middle to high, they can set 3 goals. If they are younger, let's say 3rd through 5th, they can set 2 goals. These goals can all be either all academic related, or they can be let's say the 2 goals could be 1 academic and 1 personal goal. If it's the middle to high schoolers and they set 3 goals, 2 of them can be related to academics and school. The other one can be more of a personal goal. A personal goal could be sports-oriented goals. Maybe they want to hit a home run or something like that in their baseball season. Or they're trying to learn a specific music piece on the piano. Let's say they take piano lessons. So maybe it's got to do with losing weight, or I'm going to walk so many miles a week, something like that. Those are all considered personal goals. But, have them do that. You can also do it with them. It would be a great thing as an adult and everybody in the family to set their own goals. And it would be like modeling it for them. So, does your child have some dreams, aspirations, but does not know how to achieve them? That's why setting SMART goals is important, and it's crucial in the development as intelligent and functioning adults as well. That we want to look forward with them, right? So getting them in this habit of setting goals is a great thing. I wish I had done this when I was younger. We have all been there. We're stuck at our desk contemplating on whether we have our next move or strategy in life. But the question that one must always ask themselves is not where, but how. How am I going to achieve this goal? And what are the steps in making my vision a reality? So the objectives of SMART goal is exactly the acronym: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based or time-bound. They can all help, and they're essential in a further understanding of the world around them and for a more fulfilling and meaningful life. It really does work. Again, you can click on a link and get the SMART Goal Planner. That's really what I want you to get and start using it as soon as possible. And even if they're in the middle of a semester, fine, just start it at that point. You can start even in the summer if you'd like to get them used to it and have them do some personal goals with it. But let's use a task of completing an essay as an example for explaining a SMART goal. And I want you to see how to use this. You can also get my blog that describes this in more detail. But by going to dynamislearningacademy.com under blogs, you can type in probably SMART goal, and that blog will pop up. But it was released in January of 2026, and I released this blog every beginning of a school semester, so January and August. So the S in SMART goals is specific. That means the task should be to the point, have a purpose, or relate in some way to the primary goal at hand. For instance, when writing an essay, the task should not be broad or a general statement. It should have to do specifically with something like do research on Catherine the Great, or complete a topic sentence for each of the body paragraphs. Okay, that would be a goal. The M in SMART is measurable. Something that has a deadline that one must meet, and also that one can track the child's success over a certain amount of time. That's what measurable is all about. For instance, when writing the essay that we were just talking about, an instructor or a teacher will give the student a deadline for the essay, right? They always say it's due on this date. The student should then write down the date in their planner. Then they can count out how many days they have to complete the essay from the time it's given to them, and it's called working backwards, right? You see how much time it's going to take you to do each component possibly. So an example of that would be break it down in the writing portion of the paragraphs. First body paragraph, due this date. Second body paragraph, due this date, and so forth. Conclusion, due closer to the end, but you need to allow time to review it and revise the entire essay again and again, at least a couple times. So if the child met the designated deadline, then he can receive a reward, let's say, of maybe 30 minutes of game time or 30 minutes of playing with toys if they're young, or 30 minutes of whatever. On the other hand, if the child does not finish the assignment, that the parent's job then is to determine the proper course of consequence, such as no video game, no cell phone, no, you can't go to your friend's house today. So there needs to be a kind of a reward consequence system to this as well. And you'll see my planner in a minute. I'm going to show it to you, and you'll see, how that works. The A in SMART, it stands for attainable. And that would mean that the task should be simple enough for one to complete in a timely manner. If one makes the task too difficult, the child's going to lose interest and not want to finish the assignment. On the other hand, if the task is small and simple enough to finish it and achieve it, then the child will feel as though he is one step closer to achieving his goals. Something to keep in mind, when the child starts to become stressed about a particular task, you can tell them that this is only a small piece to the bigger picture of this goal, and meaning take it step by step and break that down so they see it in a much smaller version and they're not overwhelmed. For instance, when writing an essay, tell them that we will write the outline today, tomorrow maybe the topic sentence, the next day the introduction, the entire introduction, the next day the first body of the body, 3-paragraph body of the essay, and so forth. So we will do this in steps and just, basically pull the whole thing down and scale it down so that they're not seeing, oh God, I have this whole big essay to write. I really don't want to do this. I'm sure you've heard this before. So the R in SMART is relevant. This has got to be relevant to each person, each child. Relevant pertains to the task that the child is currently working on and reviewing whether that is going to help him in his future endeavors or help him reach his goals that he has set. An example of this, related again to the writing essay, the child can ask if this essay is going to help him receive an excellent grade in his class. If the answer is yes, I'm sure that's going to be a question, then the path he is on is correct. The goals will be achieved and the assignment finished. If the answer is no, then more work needs to be completed. A strategy may need to be altered to reach the goals. And one thing I want to say about goals, or maybe action steps related to accomplish the goal, those can be changed. They can be moved around some, depending on your deadline. So the final letter in SMART is T, and that is all about time bound. So this is important because you do have a time limit being set on a specific task that can be beneficial for a child in helping them stay focused. We all have deadlines at work. We have to meet deadlines at work. We have projects we have to meet. As a teacher, I used to grade loads and loads of essays, actually, and I'm not going to sit down and do 100 essays, right, all at once. I have to break that down by maybe do this class period on Monday, this class period on Tuesday, so forth and so on until I get them all done. So let's use the example of writing the essay. If the assignment is due in 7 days for the student, then it's best to set a goal to finish the piece by the 6th day, of course, because you're turning it in on the 7th day. A start and end date to the assignment should be recorded so the child is aware of how much time he has to complete this entire assignment. When assigning a time limit on a task, keep in mind that the use of electronics such as phones, tablets, Oh, gaming consoles, biggie. And computers can be a hindrance or a distraction to them in achieving that full potential. So make sure, parents, that you are clearing their desk, their environment, wherever they're working, and that there are no distractions for them. Not an iPad, not a tablet, not a computer, anything like that, not their cell phone. They must deposit it somewhere else in the house until they get this. Let's say they're going to spend an hour on their essay. Make sure that all that stuff is removed unless they need it to do research for this essay, perhaps. The SMART goal system can help your children in so many ways. I brought this up a long time ago when I was teaching, and it went into the passport actually for the school. So we used it in a little short class that we used to have called Pause. And we would have different kids in the building assigned to us, and that was like a 20-minute class, and that was when we did the goals. So it can help them achieve and create goals, the SMART goals system, by making dreams a reality, which is what we want. Implementing just one of these tips even can be a tremendous amount of help for your children and also their future. I mean, this is what we all want. This is not anything most people do not want. They want their child to succeed. If your child needs some extra guidance on this and accomplishing their goals, please reach out to me, Helen at dynamislearningacademy.com. We can talk to you and have a free consultation and find out what's really going on. Your child might need some executive functioning coaching because a lot of this is about prioritizing, planning, organizing, things like that, because those are the skills that executive functioning takes care of. And they may just be missing those skills. So if you tell them to do this and then they don't understand how to do it, that's probably why. We can then discuss your child's current situation and set up a successful path for him and her to accomplish these goals. All my tutors are using the goal planner with their students right now and setting goals for the semester. And I just want to share what my SMART goal planner might look like real quick. So if you can see this on the video, I'm just going to read it because we do have an audio version of this. But let's say they're doing 2 goals. So what do I want to achieve academically? Have the goal completion date there. Why do I want to achieve this goal? That's a great thing. Have them say why they want to do it. You may have to help younger kids with this one. How am I going to reach my goal? I need steps. What are those steps that I'm going to take to reach the goals I've listed? Everybody needs steps to break it down. Who will help me to reach those goals? Will it be parent? Will it be a sister, a brother, an aunt, uncle, my grandparent, my coach, if it's got to do with athletics? Would it be my executive functioning coach, if you have one of those? Will it be the tutor, if you have one of those? Will it be my counselor at school because you've asked them to keep you accountable? Would it be a best friend? It could be any of these people, folks, anybody. And what obstacles can I expect? Now, that's a really great question. Oh, maybe my cell phone and me getting bothered by my friends could be one. My football schedule is pretty draining, and I'm trying to figure out how I can find time to study. That's a pretty popular question, and that could relate to any sport, not just football. It could be that, your parents have you going to different places. The parents have their children going to different places. They must attend this night at church and this or that. So it may be you have to look at your schedule and your child and make sure you're allowing enough time for them to complete these goals. That's a big deal. Sometimes I find that I'm running here and there and everywhere, and I'm not in my office so I can complete what I have to get done for the day. What are the solutions to these obstacles? So let's say this happens to you. Your football schedule gets in the way. Well, what are the solutions to these obstacles? Recently, we did start tutoring a football player. That's why I'm kind of using this as an answer. So I know the schedule's pretty tight. He's usually practicing for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, gets home probably about 7:30-ish. Then he has to eat and then start studying around 8 p.m., pretty late. So what are the solutions to that? Well, they got a tutor for him. That's one. Um, you know, my executive functioning coach is also helping with some of those habits and strategies. And, there's just a lot of obstacles that you should expect might happen. And then what are the solutions to offset those obstacles so you can reach your goals as a student? All right, guys, I am so excited that you guys are able to join me today for the SMART Goals webinar and podcast, goal setting for the classroom and beyond. It's really a huge, huge thing. And what we want is for kids to set habits, and habits usually yield success. Well, again, thank you for joining me on Smart Parents, Successful Students. We will see you again next time. Bye for now.
Thanks for tuning in to Smart Parents, Successful Students podcast. If you found today's episode insightful, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and check out our YouTube channel for even more tips to help your student thrive. Until next time, keep guiding your children towards success.